way forward for people with abilities, no dis necessary. Also, engaging members of the public on their knowledge of the ZIKA virus. We've got a full package in store for you with today's Jamaica magazine. Hello, I'm Audrey. We also share details on a new partnership between the Education Ministry and Red Stripe to stop underage drinking. Stay with us as we get things rolling right now.
Wasted again, passed out, don't know who I am.
It was the liquor talking, not me.
Underage drinking is a serious matter. Risks include death, serious injuries, impaired judgment, brain development problems, and more. Let's all play our part and ensure that no child under the age of 18 is consuming alcohol. Let's put a stop to underage drinking.
We are in the business of prevention. Let us all ensure that we're partnering to stop our children from consuming alcohol.
I thought I was indestructible.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, March 29. Companies listed on the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange will continue to enjoy some tax-free benefits. Under the initial arrangement, those companies would no longer be exempt from corporate income tax starting March 31. But Finance Minister Audley Shaw has announced that the exemption will continue.
I have also given instructions to maintain the junior stock exchange. The benefits were due to expire at the end of this month. It will not expire, as I promised, anymore. It has already given access to equity capital to dozens of growing businesses in many sectors, including manufacturing. Preserving it will mean that this can continue for only a negligible fiscal cost while creating new streams of investment and job creation.
Minister Shaw adds that even though the policy resulted in some revenue loss, the companies that were expanded through the junior market contributed to other revenue sources.
National Housing Trust contributions from all of those expansions have gone up by 86%. NIS contributions have gone up by 120%. PAYE contributions have gone up by 97%. And guess what? General consumption tax earnings have gone up by 337%, moving from about $200 million to almost $1 billion.
The Finance Minister was speaking at the private sector organization of Jamaica PSOJ's Club Forum at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel this morning. Government will continue upgrading Jamaica Customs to facilitate trade and improve service delivery to customers. The commitment came from State Minister in the Finance Ministry, Favour Williams, during a recent tour of facilities at Newport East.
We will do our best to help to clear the roadblocks in your way. I know there are a couple of pieces of legislation that need to be looked at, and when they come our way, or we'll try to facilitate, accelerate, do what we can to ensure that you have a clear path to do your work.
The State Minister, who also toured the Accountant General's department, has congratulated the staff for making its operations more efficient.
The transformation and modernization of the services at AGD is also to be lauded, particularly when we consider that life certificates are now processed in a 4-hour period, which prior to this took 3 to 5 weeks.
She also urged the public sector employees to go beyond the call of duty and exceed performance targets. As part of crime-fighting efforts, Police Commissioner Dr. Carl Williams says the JCF is ramping up its recruitment drive so that more police officers can be on the streets. Civilians are being recruited to oversee some duties at police stations so that district constables can be deployed to various communities.
There are sometimes 50% of the staff at police station, but they are not in the district where they are supposed to be. We are determined to change that because the district constable is the original community police officer.
In the meantime, National Security Minister Robert Montego has instructed the police commissioner to review the promotion policy within the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
We have asked the commissioner to ensure that there is a promotions policy that is easily understood, that is merit-based, and that is transparent. People must get promotion by merit, by work, not by law.
The National Security Minister and the Police Commissioner were speaking at a community forum in Westmoreland last week. Agriculture Minister Carl Samuda is urging young farmers to tap into the $250 billion nutraceutical industry.
About 50% of the 160 plants that are classified as medicinal plants, from which medicines, etc., can be extracted. Jamaica has about half of that, endemic to Jamaica. Yet our share of the market in terms of our production for export cannot be measured. So the scope is there. The opportunities exist.
Minister Samuda was speaking recently at the graduation exercise for 22 young farmers who received training in nutraceuticals. And finally, Sport Minister Olivia Grange says sport programs at the grassroots level will be expanded to unearth young people's talent in various sporting disciplines. The Institute of Sports, Sports Development Foundation, and GC Foster College will be working with other stakeholders in the public and private sectors to get the job done.
We're going to be expanding that program, and we're going to have a more coordinated approach in government, a more joined-up approach in all the sports entities working together to reach a nook and cranny across Jamaica.
Minister Grange was speaking at the recent football match between Jamaica and Costa Rica at the National Stadium. The World Cup qualifier ended in a 1-1 draw. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Don't make diseases spread. Wash your hands with soap and water instead. Wash them regular or use a hand sanitizer. Make sure the germs them dead. Touching your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Wash your hands before you do things like those. After you use the bathroom before preparing food, come on, wash your hand them clean.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness and his team at Jamaica House were very busy over the past week. We catch up with some of the happenings in today's Jamaica House Weekly.
We can announce a 25% discount on the toll.
And
we are now facing a future that almost certainly will be hotter, drier, and wetter due to climate change.
You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Simone Wolf. Commuters using the north-south leg of Highway 2000 are now benefiting from a 25% discount in toll fees, thanks to negotiations undertaken by government. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement at last week's official opening of the Caymanas leg, which now sees the entire 67-kilometer roadway being opened to the public. The toll discount is expected to last for 1 month while negotiations continue with toll operators, the Jamaica North-South Highway Company Limited.
We will continue our negotiations to arrive at an equilibrium toll, a toll that satisfies the investment obligations of China Harbour and China Construction Communication Company, and the people of Jamaica who really want to use the road and get the benefit of the reduction in travel time, wear and tear, and increased economic activity.
The Prime Minister said government would be looking to capitalize on the $720 million investment.
The opportunities for tourism, for leisure and recreation, for light manufacturing, for agriculture are many. And we will be working in partnership with our friends from China Communication Construction Company and China Harbour to use these opportunities to bring real growth and job creation and prosperity to the people of Jamaica.
And before the opening, Prime Minister Holness met with Mr. Sun Ziyu, Vice President of the China Communications Construction Company, CCCC. The CCCC, through its subsidiary China Harbour Engineering Company, is responsible for the construction of the north-south leg of Highway 2000. Talks centered on deepening cooperation in other areas, including tourism, real estate, and water supply. The Prime Minister also attended a dinner in honor of Mr. Sun's visit to the island.
I commit to our partners, to the people of Jamaica, that we will move efficiently and effectively to get these projects done for the benefit of the Jamaican people and the people of China who are investing significant resources in Jamaica. We will have to do this whilst preserving our environment.
During the course of last week, Prime Minister Holness also met with other international partners. On Tuesday, he held talks with Germany's ambassador to Jamaica. By Thursday, Mr. Holness was meeting with Japanese ambassador, His Excellency Masanori Nakano. He closed out meetings at Jamaica House with a delegation from Lyme and 2015 Rhodes Scholar Sharona Forrester. And the Prime Minister lent his support to the Reggae Boys during their World Cup qualifier match against Costa Rica on Good Friday. The match ended in a 1-1 draw.
I'm sure the team understands that the public is really wishing them well, and we're still behind them.
Last Tuesday, Jamaica received a green economy scoping study, which highlighted how the island could create jobs and grow the economy in a sustainable way. The scoping study was developed by government and the University of the West Indies with funding from the United Nations Environment Programme and the European Commission. Minister with responsibility for economic growth and job creation within the Office of the Prime Minister, Darrell Vaz, said the study would assist in the elimination of poverty and provide an avenue for public-private partnership.
We must advocate for greater involvement and renewed commitment by the private sector in terms of their environmental stewardship and corporate social responsibility. I therefore call on the leaders of the private sector and all corporate entities, many of whom are here today, to fully embrace the green economy and other environmental initiatives.
The study covered 5 main areas: agriculture, construction, energy, tourism, and water.
These sectors are the country's primary foreign exchange earners, the largest consumers of water, and significant energy consumers. When temperatures soar to record levels as they did during much of last year, it is not a few of us who felt the heat, but all of us. When drought ravages our crops and there are outbreaks of bushfires, we all pay higher prices at the market. And when floods due to hurricane and intense rainfall damage our roads, buildings, and infrastructure, the country stands the cost of rebuilding.
The minister with responsibility for the environment was addressing a World Meteorological Day forum last Wednesday. The forum was used to sign a memorandum of understanding for the installation of 36 automated weather stations across the island. The $18 million project will benefit over 500 farmers under the Jamaica Rural Economy and Ecosystems Adapting to Climate Change JA REACH program. The stations will be managed by the Met Office, the National Irrigation Commission, and RADA. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time when we return with more of the stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
My name is Jason Ricketts, and I employ all youth with disability to not give up hope. There is a space out there for you, just need to work hard, and I'm sure that your training will help Jamaica move forward to meet Vision 2030 plan.
Jamaica continues to make major moves to protect and support our most vulnerable, which includes our people with disabilities. As we seek greater inclusion and empowerment, we also need to be aware of what's unfolding. Learn more from a recent Stakeholder Seminar advocating for this important group.
We can make it if we try. Only if we try. Hold your head up, hold it tight. Got to hold it tight. Journey on and never stop.
In late 2014, Jamaica passed the Disabilities Act, making a historic step towards providing a legal framework and representation for persons with disabilities across the island. And as the country continues to make the necessary changes to cater to people with disabilities, stakeholders in the sector met recently to chart the way forward. Among the plans,
the JCPD is currently in the process of looking at its logo to ensure that it represents the values that we want the society to know that persons with disabilities represent. We're looking at doing some publications, making the act simple for persons to be able to pick up, read, and move on, making brochures about accessibility so that it is easy for whether business or people in their homes or persons who are building to see and know how they can make their spaces more accessible. We're doing this just to make sure that the information doesn't stay among us, but the information goes out there. We're also creating a mini campaign on the Disabilities Act so the wider society is aware of what the Act says to ensure that persons know their rights, know their responsibilities.
As part of its continued advocacy and public education program, the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, JCPD, invited Chief of Staff in the U.S. Department of Labor, Claudia Gordon Esquire, to share best practices with sector leaders. Claudia, who is a Jamaican hailing from the parish of St. Mary, has been deaf since age 8. She made history as the first deaf African-American female attorney in the United States.
I love to speak to persons like you who are doing the hard work to help make Jamaica a fully inclusive society. Jamaica did something that was historic. And this was the passing of the Jamaican with Disabilities Act. And I think that is a proud moment in our history. For the first time here in Jamaica, a law is being passed to say that the time has come. The time has come for people with disabilities. And it's for them to be fully included in society.
Because success for persons like myself should not depend on circumstances. Whether I was born with a disability or whether I was born in poverty, doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Success should not depend on any specific criteria, but rather it should depend on the size of our dreams and the strength of our work ethics.
In addition to motivating the sector leaders, she gave some advice on dealing with various issues in the sector.
It's important that people with disabilities be able to take care of our families, to equally as anyone else pay our bills. And that's only part of it. We also need to be employed in order to feel a sense of self-worth and personal dignity. Hire more persons with disabilities and then recognize them as they have stepped up to the challenge of providing some positive peer pressure to encourage others to step up as well and maybe step up even better. So these hotel industries can show they can accomplish meeting the target of not keeping persons with disabilities in low positions, but bringing them up the ladder to higher positions, as well as recognize them with awards.
Look beyond the disability. One way that can be phrased is where, the word disability, that DIS, you could focus on the last 7 letters of that word and ignore the first 3. Focus on the ability.
We can make it if we try. Only if we try. Hold your head up, hold it tight. Got to hold it tight. Journey on and never stop.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them. A message from the Ministry of Health.
No doubt, the Ministry of Health has been ensuring that all Jamaicans are aware of the ZIKA virus and how to deal with the Aedes aegypti mosquito which spreads it. But have you been listening? Well, we went out a road to answer that question.
Yes, I went to the clinic the other day and the doctor was giving us some tips about it, you know, that we have to keep our surroundings mosquito free, old tires, old cans, anything that can accumulate water. We should try to get them old cans, bore holes in the old cans and old bottles and all of those things what can store water.
Simple to keep your place clean, you know, and free from dirty water and them thing there. Because the master mostly breed up near surrounding.
From what I've heard, and I've seen on television, it's spreading like wildfires kills how much babies in Brazil.
Well, I hear say chicken cause it, I don't know.
ZIKA virus is a virus that is like chikungunya virus that we had last year. Of course, there is no treatment per se. You just have to go through the whole process. And of course, it's spread by mosquitoes.
To affect mothers that are pregnant with young children.
Yeah, the ZIKA virus is that you're infected by the Aedes mosquito. So in order to prevent the mosquito breeding up, you have to clean up your areas.
Life is all about making decisions, choosing from a number of options to do a particular thing, which may result in a specific outcome.
It can be difficult, but there are 4 things you can do to help make that decision.
Stop. Check out what's happening and remind yourself to think before acting.
Think. Make sure you're aware of the choices, all the advantages and disadvantages. Then think about the consequences.
Act. Choose the best option and do something about it.
Review. Finally, review what you have done and determine if it was good or bad. That way, you'll be in a better position to make the next decision, whether big or simple.
Speaking of making decisions, more and more of our young people under age 18 are being faced with the temptation to indulge in drinking alcohol. You know, at the parties, out with friends, just to have fun. But it's a risky practice with negative repercussions for these youngsters. Learn now of a new initiative by private sector company Red Stripe and the partnership with the Education Ministry.
Alcohol can be enticing, and very few of us could truthfully say we never indulge. But there's a reason for legal age limits for the purchase and consumption of alcoholic beverages. According to the US-based Centers for Disease Control, youth who drink alcohol are more likely to experience school, social, legal, and physical consequences. There is a higher risk for suicide and homicide, alcohol-related car crashes, memory problems, and death from alcohol poisoning. Unfortunately, many young people never see the dangers until it is too late.
Poor Scott. I can't believe he's missing the party.
It's his own fault.
That's not fair. It was an accident. He didn't mean to get drunk.
Alcohol is the most widely used substance in Jamaica and in the wider region among adults and adolescents. Our lack of enforcement of the laws which were created to protect our children leads to widespread access among underage youth to purchase and use alcohol. The all-inclusive parties, the sporting activities, community dances, our very own night, local shops and bars, and our private homes all have contributed in their own way to this pervasive problem.
And this is why the Ministry of Education has partnered with private sector company Red Stripe on their initiative dubbed The Movement.
And the movement contributes to our drive to implement the global beer, wine, and spirits producers' commitments, which include a commitment to reduce underage drinking as part of our overall efforts to support the WHO's global strategy to reduce the harmful use of alcohol.
So the movement will be engaging students from approximately 30 schools island-wide in a live theatre production on the issue.
The movement is a live theatre production which seeks to change young persons' attitudes to alcohol. It's also aimed at educating students on the facts about alcohol, explores causes and consequences of alcohol misuse, and helps students tackle peer pressure and make informed choices.
The Education Ministry sees the public-private partnership as significant in targeting and reaching our youth who are more prone to the dangers of alcohol misuse due to peer pressure.
And we want to use ways to educate our young people, so even when they leave the formal school system, a lot of them still under the age of 18, they're given the skills that allow them to make responsible choices. This supports the ministry's policy against substance abuse in schools, which has been promulgated through our school safety and security manual. We see schools as drug-free zones.
The movement is also supported by the National Council on Drug Abuse and the National Parenting Support Commission.
We are especially pleased about this as recent feedback from youth suggests that radical changes are required in the way that we deliver information about alcohol and drug prevention.
Let's all play our part in stopping underage drinking. You can make the difference in a young person's life.
We have been doing it, but we need support. It will take partnership to change culture. It will take partnership for us to have a different outlook and a different approach. And this sort of partnership that brings in corporate Jamaica, community, government, that is what we need.
How well do you know your child? What he or she likes or dislikes? Favorite food or color? How about who their friends are? Make the time. Get to know your child. It helps to build their relationship. Makes it easy to keep them safe, and it helps their development process.
And with that message is how we close the pages of today's Jamaica Magazine. For queries or comments, just drop us a line or two at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. To see a repeat of this program, visit our YouTube channel at WatchJIS and keep in the know with the latest news at jis.gov.jm. You should definitely keep the social media link as well on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm Audrey Williams, wishing you a wonderful evening.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.